IOTA is a project that some love and others love to hate. A project that has had its ups and downs, but one that still remains at the bleeding edge of IoT tech. But is it something that you should consider? Hello, this is Guy from the Coin Bureau, and in this video I'm going to give you everything that you need to know about IOTA. Before I get going though, I need to get one or two quick things out of the way. Firstly, this is not investment advice, and Guy is nobody's financial advisor. Also, the Coin Bureau is completely independent. We don't take any payments for our reviews. And one more thing, if you're new here, you may want to subscribe to receive our regular coin reviews and analysis. Anyways, enough beating about the bush. Let's get right on into IOTA. IOTA is a distributed public ledger that was developed in order to power machine-to-machine payments in the Internet of Things economy. Essentially, with IOTA, all of the computing devices that are embedded in machinery throughout homes, businesses, and factories will be able to communicate, sending and receiving data and making feeless transactions. Picture the scene. You can order milk from your fridge, which is connected to a decentralized fleet of milk delivery drones. Cars that interact with other cars on highways. This could all theoretically be facilitated by IOTA. They are unique not just in the IoT sector, however, but also in the cryptocurrency space. This is because, unlike other projects, they've done away with the blockchain and instead rely on their unique consensus method. So, what is this consensus method? It's called the Tangle, and it's the name that IOTA has designated to their DAG-based ledger. So let's take a closer look at that, shall we? A DAG is a directed acyclic graph which has a different structure from a blockchain. With a blockchain, each block will come one after the other and contain information about all the blocks before it. With a DAG, however, the data structure grows increasingly complex as more nodes and transactions are added, which helps provide security. Additionally, the DAG moves in one direction and does not loop back on itself. With the IOTA Tangle, all of the connected nodes hold transactional data and consensus is built into the system. Rather than using a proof-of-work blockchain where consensus is separated and miners are required to form a consensus, the Tangle requires each participant to confirm two other transactions in order to get their own transaction confirmed. This gives us a completely decentralized and self-regulating peer-to-peer network. This allows IOTA to remain feeless, and it will always remain feeless no matter the size of the network. By eliminating miners, there is no need to pay anyone directly on the network. Instead, each user is paying by using a very small amount of their computing power to confirm two other transactions. So, quite simply, with the IOTA Tangle, the more activity there is on the network, the more validation takes place. Quite the opposite of how it would look on a blockchain. Oh, by the way, if any of this is confusing to you, then you can read our intro to DAGs in the description below. Now, another central piece of the IOTA network has been the coordinator, or COO. This was developed in order to protect the Tangle in its early phase as a distributed network. You can think of this as a centralized masternode that is controlled by the IOTA Foundation. The exact mechanics of the COO is beyond the scope of this video, but to give you a rough explanation, the COO regularly publishes zero-value transactions that perform a check on the IOTA Tangle. These transactions are called milestones that help determine the direction in which these transactions are being spun. Now, here's the rub. A transaction is only valid if it has been confirmed directly or indirectly with a milestone. So, essentially, the COO makes the IOTA network a centralized one, a dirty word in the crypto space. Now, having said all that, things are about to change as IOTA is about to kill this COO. The developers have called it the coordicide, and it is their solution to a COO-free Tangle. Indeed, it has always been on the agenda of the developers to eliminate the COO once they had a better grasp of how completely decentralized tangles would function. So, this is something that you can look forward to, and you can read more about the coordicide in a post that we've linked to below. Moving on though, IOTA has their own native token that has the ticker IOTA. These will serve as the utility token within the IOTA ecosystem. They'll be used to power the microtransactions between the devices. Essentially, an open market of devices can be created, where resource usage and transfer can be billed second by second in real time. There's a total supply of over 2 billion IOTAs, and these were all generated with a pre-mine at the Genesis transaction. This is a fixed supply, and there will never be any more IOTAs generated or mined. And here you can actually see the genius of the IOTA tangle. Because there are no miners that are required to secure the network and verify transactions, there are no incentives for anyone to try and raise network fees by slowing the network. Music to my ears. IOTA did hold a crowd sale ICO for these tokens, which took place back in 2015. They were able to raise 1,337 Bitcoin, worth roughly $500,000 at the time. I know that sounds like a very small amount, but crowd sales and ICOs weren't very common in 2015. What is important to point out, though, is that the total supply was issued in the sale, and none were reserved for the founders, developers, or advisors, something that you just don't see in the crypto space anymore. The community has also given back to the foundation in order to fund future development. 5% of this token supply was donated to the foundation. So, altogether, a relatively harmonious token ecosystem, but how has the price fared? Well, it's been a pretty bumpy ride. Like most other cryptocurrencies, IOTA was swept up by the bull market in 2017 and reached dizzying highs of over $5 per IOTA. However, when the bull market collapsed, so too did the price of IOTA. Prices have been pretty range-bound over the past 6 months, just waiting for that alt season. Moving swiftly on, I want to take a quick look at the team behind this project. IOTA was founded in 2015 by 2 entrepreneurs and a professor. David Sonstebo and Dominic Scheinerhav founded a number of businesses in the hardware and software space. Then you have Dr. Sergey Popov, who is a mathematics professor. He was the one who wrote the IOTA white paper and is the co-author of the Tangle. All 3 of these founders serve as directors on the IOTA Foundation's board. There are a host of other highly qualified individuals both on the corporate and engineering side of IOTA. I won't go into them here, but you can always read about them in our long-form review that we've linked to below. All that you really need to know about the broader IOTA team is that they are hard at work. On the development side, you can take a look at their GitHub repositories. They're pushing code commits at quite a frenetic pace, always great to see. However, the business development side is something I really want to talk about. IOTA has been one of the most active projects in the crypto space when it comes to industry partnerships. There are numerous partnerships and collaborations that they've entered into, and here are some of the most interesting ones. The government of Taipei is partnered with IOTA in order to realize its smart city goals. A Dutch power consortium is working with the foundation to create smart charging stations for electric cars. Volkswagen partnered with IOTA in the Digital Car Pass initiative. And more recently, they partnered with Priority to track food allergens and improve consumer safety. Other high-profile names that IOTA has inked partnerships with include the likes of Microsoft, Bosch, Fujitsu, and Accenture. So, what does all this mean? One word: adoption. Mass use of distributed ledger technology can only be fostered with the help of industry partners, so it's great to see IOTA taking the lead on this. Let's take a quick look at the markets for the IOTA token, shall we? IOTA is currently listed on a number of exchanges. The bulk of the volume appears to be on HitBTC, although I would avoid this exchange for a number of reasons. It's also listed on the likes of Binance, Bitfinex, Huobi, OKEx, etc. Volumes appear to be pretty well spread out across these exchanges, which means that liquidity is not dependent on a singular exchange. When it comes to liquidity on each of the exchanges, they appear quite healthy. Looking at the Bitcoin IOTA market on Binance, for example, the order books are deep and the turnover is steady, so makes execution that much easier. If you've bought IOTA, then you're probably going to want to store it in an offline wallet. There are in fact quite a few wallets that support the token. I won't go into them here, but if you wanted a list of the best IOTA wallets, we also have a post for that. So then, what do I really think about IOTA? I'm really quite optimistic about it. For one, their use of the Tangle is a major advantage that they have over traditional blockchains. Yes, it is currently monitored by the coup, but Coordicide will take care of that. I'm also impressed by the level of commitment that the team has towards the project and its broader visions. Let's also not forget that they didn't reserve any of the tokens in the crowd sale. This team is actively pushing code on the engineering side and forming some pivotal partnerships on the business development side. They really are lighting the way for distributed ledger technology in an interconnected future. Yet, are there challenges? Well, there have been a few issues in the past that do still linger. These include a high-profile phishing of wallet seeds and subsequent IOTA theft, as well as an academic paper that found hash collision in the algorithm. Then, of course, we have the deterioration in the price of IOTA, which does not bode well for those who continue to hodl. That said, there are very few altcoins of any denomination that have been spared the vagaries of the bear market. And that's it, guys. My review of IOTA. But I really want to know, what do you think of the project? Is there anything I should add? Hit me up in the comments below. And of course, if this video was helpful, then don't forget to hit up that like button and to subscribe. Much more will be on its way soon.